My name is Adam Howard, and I'm the London Events Coordinator at Charing Cross Road, and I look after all the events that we have in our flagship branch. And the book that I picked for my staff pick is Little Big by John Crowley. I think I was reading on the internet that it was one of Harold Bloom's books that he chose in the Great Western Canon, and I don't necessarily believe in canons or kind of like set texts that are important, but I found it really interesting that there was this fantasy novel that nobody had ever heard of that he decided to include with Middlemarch and the brothers Karamazov. It's about a family called the Drinkwaters who live in this amazing house which is like incomprehensible. Smokey Barnable, who's like basically the protagonist in the novel, gets so kind of caught up in the house and feels like it's so infinite and strange that he becomes at one point convinced that the outside might just be another room in the house. He marries into the family and kind of discovers that their fates are sealed by a fairy kingdom that is unknown to them. Really, the whole story is built around this notion of these characters being unwitting chess pieces on a board that they don't have any control over, and it's sad and it's kind of thrilling at times, and I think it's really powerful. I think that lots of people can feel out of control and kind of buffeted about by forces that they can't perceive, but this just kind of gives it a magical context, which is really cool. What I love about fantasy is that it's character-based and it's world-based and it's story-based, and I think it takes great skill to be able to do all three at once. I think certainly Little Big has some of the best storytelling and character building that I've ever read. The magic in this is strange and powerful, and it all makes an emotional sense that I think people sometimes don't give credit to fantasy novels for having. The ending, the whole thing builds up to this huge moment, but it's all, which I mean, I can't get through it without like it makes me cry in a way that like novels don't often make me cry, like a kind of like sobbing, kind of overwhelmed feeling. So yeah, if you want that experience, then I would recommend Little Big.